Really just wanted to, I understand that there's a board member here that has a particular interest in the comprehensive plan.
She's doing a presentation right after you.
Oh, okay.
No, I won't be. You emailed me about that last night, and I did not have time to prepare anything to change my presentation. I let you know that, so I won't be making any presentations.
Okay, so you've got more time if you want to.
Sure. And I just wanted to make sure that if you have specific questions that I get for them.
Sure.
So the comprehensive plan is a legal document. It's required by the state of Washington's Growth Management Act, and the GMA, Growth Management Act, also requires that we update the comprehensive plan approximately every 7 to 10 years, and the purpose of that is to recalibrate the plan based on new population projections and new job projections for the next 20 to 30 years. So that is, those are the kind of somewhat hard numbers that we have to factor into the plan. And as some of you probably know already, that what we are expecting is 70,000 new households, which is about 120,000 new people, and 115,000 new jobs over the next 20 years. So the primary purpose of the plan is to find the best way to leverage the benefits that growth can create. Good jobs, good housing, efficient transit service, parks, libraries. That is what we're doing with these new figures. And the way right now we're studying through an environmental impact statement process 4 different alternatives for how that amount of growth, new households and new jobs, will be distributed around the city. So it's the same level of growth in the different alternatives, but they're sort of slightly tweaked. One is focusing more of the growth in urban centers, another is focusing it more around light rail stations, another is focusing it on urban villages. So those are sort of the fairly nuanced distinctions that we're studying in the environmental review process with some of you are very familiar now. So that, in a nutshell, is what we're doing with the major update. And the comprehensive plan, although it's a legally required document, it's also an opportunity for the city to essentially have a conversation, a citywide conversation, which is what we're doing as part of the update, about what our values are, how we want to grow, how we think our city should look like over the next 20 years, how we work with new citizens, how we adjust to a changing economy, how we use new kinds of transit service like car share services. So it's a big, sprawling kind of policy conversation that we get to have every 7 to 10 years. That's partly why I'm here tonight, is to encourage all of you to get involved if you're not already involved. I have some handouts. We want to start distributing these. They're not enough for all the folks here, but I'm certainly happy to send more around. And there's a Facebook page, there's a listserv, there's some Twitter, there's a Twitter account, and all those are ways that you can stay in touch with my Department of Planning and Development, and find out what we're doing, when the public meetings are, what your opportunity to comment is, so you can be aware and involved long before any decisions are made. So
Is there this is from June?
that's from June, and our current schedule, as you'll see in there, calls for in November, December of this year, subject to change, we're going to be releasing a draft version of the plan and a draft environmental impact statement. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to comment in those long, dark winter nights when we have nothing else going on. So that is what the comp plan update is all about, and I want to make sure that
The website for the comp plan is
Seattle, just Google Seattle 2035.
Okay, I know these are the DPD.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and you are Kristian at
Kristian.
Kristian.Kofoed.
Kristian.Kofoed@seattle.gov.
Okay. And so yeah, this just gives you the basics to look at what else you need.
Right, and on the back and on the bookmarks that I handed out, the comp plan swag, as we call it, there's information about the different ways that you can sign up.
Timeline and sign up.
And here's some business cards that will be collectible at some point in my life, I'm sure. So please distribute them and please stay involved. And let me find out from you what you think about how the city is doing, how is our planning going? Is it successful? Are there big changes that we should make? Yes.
My question is, has a decision been made whether it will be based on the urban village or the transit-oriented development or another factor?
No decision has been made. Those are the alternatives that we're studying for how that growth is going to be distributed across the city. And in the way that the EIS processes work, at the end of the process, we can combine the best things from all the 4 alternatives into one preferred alternative. So no decision has been made yet about, it's not like we've already decided to lump all the growth right around light rail stations or right in every urban center. It's still in flux and there's still opportunities to comment on it. Yes, sir.
I guess on that point, shouldn't this process have occurred before the city selected the action of focusing all the growth at the Mount Baker Town Center? Isn't that one of the 3 alternatives that's supposedly being studied, is to focus growth at light rail stations?
Light rail stations. That is focusing, it's a good question, but that's focusing, what we're studying now is focusing new growth over the next 20 years around light rail stations across the city, including Mount Baker. The Mount Baker station, the growth and the rezoning around the Mount Baker station was addressed in a previous environmental document.
So we do have a significant amount of time, because there was another presentation following, and I just believe that it was a collaborative effort. I'm sorry to be hanging, but if you have more to say about what will be happening in these meetings and what the process is, you can flesh that out, because it's easy when you're in it to think everyone knows the alphabet soup that you speak. And you've done a very good job. I'm not saying you use too many acronyms. Just if you could flesh out more what the environmental impact process is, because this is a different way of looking at the document. It's a little hard to wrap my brain around. So if you could talk a little more, and then also people want to start again getting those question cards to lead. We have a lot more time with this presenter, which is a luxury we don't often get. So if you've got things to say, get them to lead so that we can make the best use of Kristian's talk. But talk about the difference between neighborhood planning and Kofoed. Like they're different. They're related but different animals.
So the Beacon Hill neighborhood plan has some policies, goals and policies that are part of the current comprehensive plan. Because there's a chapter, if you will, in the comprehensive plan called the neighborhood planning element, and every neighborhood plan across the city, and there's 38 or so of those plans, their highest level goals and policies are in the comprehensive plan. So that is one way the neighborhood planning relates to the comprehensive plan.
So
It's actually in the comprehensive plan, it's part of the comprehensive plan. And we, since it's a relatively recent plan, we don't anticipate that there will be a lot of changes to the goals and policies of that plan. So it's probably important to think of it as an extension of the comprehensive plan that is somewhat fine-tuned to address the issues and strengths and needs of North and East. So that, I hope, helps explain some of the relationship. Neighborhood planning, excuse me, the small case N, small case P, neighborhood planning is something that goes on in a sense all the time, all over the city. And you could be planning for a traffic circle, or for a scenic byway, or for a garden. You could be planning for the way that you're going to address new structures in your area. All that is neighborhood planning with a small n and a small p. And we think that it's guided and fortified and assisted by the general policies of the comprehensive plan. But the comprehensive plan, even though it's a 500+ page document, it's a very exhaustive concordance of policies. It can't address every need and every issue in every neighborhood across the city of Seattle. that is something that has to be addressed at the more local level, as I'm sure some of you did when you participated in that planning process. So, does that help you?
I think
Is that kind of what you're getting at?
it does,
It's a part of the toolkit in a sense. Neighborhood planning is part of the toolkit for addressing and realizing the goals of the comprehensive plan.
So, do we have any more little thingamajigs coming around, any questions that people wanted to write down and send to Lee?
There one, yes.
That one, excellent.
Oh, of course.
We're just gonna, since we've got extra time for Kristian, we'll just go for it. Thank you.
Index cards haven't come off this way at all.
There was a box, and then next to cards with little board for us to use as a writing service.
Here comes, who else needs a card?
They were, it was a plan. Thank you very much.
Who else? You ready?
Sorry.
That's the worst one.
Yeah, I think we get it. We've got more of these guys. And keep going to the other side of the room, there's some John Lee. Okay, so the one I have so far is many of the decisions made by the city are based on growth estimates and transportation impact estimates. Does the city monitor those estimates for accuracy, and where is the best place to find the city's estimates and the actual numbers?
The DBE has just recently released a development capacity report that's on our website that shows some of those numbers. There's also, as part of the comprehensive plan, which is also online, the current comprehensive plan, one of the appendices to the comprehensive plan shows the growth estimates for each urban village and urban center and manufacturing and industrial center. So it's basically available on our website. And if whoever has a business card might feel free to contact me if you're having trouble finding any of these documents.
Okay, so that's the estimates, and are there real numbers to compare to their estimates? How accurate that is, whether it's
Yes, there are. And so one of the alternatives, or actually several of the alternatives for the updated comprehensive plan that are being studied in the current environmental impact statement process looks at how well 10 years ago the city predicted growth in these areas, and based on those lessons learned, because we actually did a pretty good job of predicting 75% of the growth that we expected to go into urban centers and urban villages did indeed happen in urban centers and urban villages. So it was a pretty educated guess, but we weren't completely accurate, and so the new alternatives are taking that into account and adjusting the estimates. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And especially for being kind of on the fly, I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
And this contact info is there, you should have gotten all your little things. Your bookmarks, I know I have swag.
Oh, my swag.
It's not very exciting swag, I gotta say.
And so one other thing, this is really exciting swag. Tomorrow night, there's a presentation by Professor Manuel Pastor on essentially gentrification and growth and how you sort of balance growth and equity, because that's a very real issue in Seattle.
And that's,
So
yes, this is on the bottom of your agenda. It's also on the bottom of your agenda, and I'll make sure it gets around. It's a town hall.
Sure.
5:30 to 7, make sure Robert gets one. Thank you for bringing that too. So that's the other comp plan related thing. If you look at the very bottom of your agenda, there's a bunch of stuff we're not talking about that's just going on, that's awesome. So you should go through all that. Thank you.
So, we have been here for Raza, and that's me, sorry. No, how we just
Sam's our new time people.
Hi.
She's awesome at it.
Awesome. What's wrong? All right, do I have 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
So, my name is Garza. As you know, I see a lot of new faces here. And of course, it's the one night that I don't bring my project cut sheet with the quick and dirty of all the different programs on it, but I am the development consultant working with Centro de la Raza on the redevelopment of their campus at this point. Both the south vacant lot right now that's used as a parking lot, which is being transformed into 2 buildings with a central plaza for the neighborhood to enjoy, as well as a parking facility enhancement that's happening on their north parking lot immediately after this project is done. So there's really a campus plan at this point, 2 separate projects under DPD, but we're working on both of them with them. I work for Beacon Development Group, statewide development consulting firm. We build affordable housing, many mixed-use projects like this all over the state and in Seattle. I have 10 minutes, so it's hard since I see a lot of new faces here. Anybody wants to talk more, I will be readily available. The reason I'm here tonight is because we passed through design review in August at our second meeting with conditions, and I wanted to specifically talk about one condition that design review has asked of us to get your feedback and help. We had a couple of people at the meeting who are here. Maybe you can raise your hands. Great, 3 people who were at the design review meeting, as well as others who routinely come to this and are not here tonight. And so I'll talk about the conditions. I have here some vignettes, so I'll leave this afterwards, hang out if you want to take a look at it out there. And then I have 20 copies of just some vignettes and an overall landscape plan, which is the main topic I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So since there are a lot of new faces here, quick and dirty, I'm really sorry. I only have 10 minutes, 112 units of affordable housing, affordable to folks making between 30 and 60% of area median income. For a family of 4, that's about $25,000 to $55,000 a year. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments, majority 2 and 3 bedrooms to respond to the crisis, lack thereof of family housing in the city, especially right near light rail stop. Above 25,000 square feet of commercial space. A second floor office space in the west building for my organization, Beacon Development Group. It's going to occupy that office space. I always forget to talk about that because it's not the El Centro component of the project. On the ground floor of the east building is a community center to be used by El Centro and for meetings such as this, as well as property management office, 2 live-work townhomes on the ground floor of the east building. On the ground floor of the west building, 7 classrooms of new childcare space. The portables will move into those classrooms, and then 3 new classrooms will be occupied, because right now there are 4 classrooms and portables. And then about 3,200 square feet of neighborhood retail immediately facing the light rail station. I know this is quick, and so please, if you have extra questions, I will have my card for you to contact. A key component of this project on your first page is this 10,000 square foot central plaza, which is going to be available for events, neighborhood, everybody to enjoy. We have proposed to the Seattle Department of Transportation in our 30% street improvement plan meeting, which is an internal meeting that everybody developing a project has to go through with SDOT, to extend our patterning across of the plaza, across the sidewalk and into the right of way to connect with both the Festival Street and the project. SDOT said, no way! So we didn't pursue that idea any further. We didn't talk to you any further about it because they were not interested in it. In our design review meeting in August, they were very interested in this concept and they said, why haven't you done this? And we said, what?
Which day?
They, DPD, the design review board, I said, why haven't you done this? And we said, well, that's funny because we suggested it and SDOT shot it down. So do you want us to do that? Would you help us? And they said, definitely, but we want to know that the neighborhood's behind it. Correct me, chime in, Roger, if you remember anything else. And I said, I'd go back to you all about it. And so it's an idea that we think is an idea worth pursuing. If you guys didn't want us to pursue it, we wouldn't pursue it. It does add cost, but we feel like the value and benefit of linking the Festival Street and the plaza is big enough visually that it's worth about the $10,000 or $20,000 it's going to cost to do it. So that was one of their key pieces of passing through design review with conditions. It's a little hard that it's a condition we don't feel like we have control over, but we feel like if we were unified with the neighborhood that maybe SDOT would see it differently.
No,
I guess what I was hoping to